This Todd-versation is brought to you in part by Harvest Hold from Verdant Technologies, with promotional consideration from Volcano Produce.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? I hope you're doing great. You know, I say this every time and I really mean it when I say it. I hope you're having a good day. I really wish that. I wish that on every single person on this little round rock going around in a circle right now. I think if we could all work together, have a good day, spread a little love, who knows what good things could happen for this future and for your day. So please make it a good one today as we listen and have some fun with our guest today. I'm excited to have her here, folks. Guess who's here? Her, Miss Mango in the house. That's who's here. I got her. I roped her in. I said, Cindy, come on, come hang out with me. Tell everybody what you're up to these days. What's going on? Please give it up, everybody. Miss Mango, Cindy's here from VP of Marketing from Splendid. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you, Todd. I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to it. We're gonna have fun today. Lots to talk about. It's mango time.
I know it is. Thank you for saying it. And I always say, when everybody says they're excited to be here, I always say, well, just say that at the end. That's what matters, right? It's always great to start with a gung-ho attitude. Let's wrap it up at the end and go, God, that was great to be here. Like, whoo, that's the goal, right? No, right. This should be fun. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you a little bit and talking about stuff. Before we get rolling, though, like I do with all my guests, and as we get bopping down the road of conversation, would you mind telling everybody a little bit, just kind of your journey and bio, just so they can get to know you a little bit?
Sure. I've worked in the produce business a long time, over 25 years. Interestingly enough, throughout my career, my main thread was Spanish. Studied languages in college and then went on and got an MBA and got into agriculture, which was my base. I'm a farmer's daughter, so it's kind of part of my DNA. It was easy go-to, and it was just part of who I was and am today. So I worked for a food service broadliner over the years. I've taught Spanish and worked in the produce business. So I'm back actively involved in agriculture and the fresh produce business, my passion in life.
I love being a farmer's daughter. I mean, it's in your DNA, it's in your blood.
It wasn't produce. It was row crops. It was cotton grain, sugarcane, but still agriculture.
Still farmer's daughter.
Well, and also farmers had the same issues around the world, which is always interesting because you speak the same language. I love it. Talk to people from other countries that are farmers and they struggle with many of the same issues that we do.
Oh, 100%.
It helps a lot too when you're working in a career that you came from.
Oh, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah, no, well, again, it's because it's your upbringing, it's your DNA. You've seen it. You've got perspective. You know what it was like when Dad got up early in the morning and you weren't, you'd wake up, he'd be gone and dinner would be on the table and maybe he's rolling in for dinner or rolling in after dinner. I mean, and to your point, you don't have to grow food to be an important farmer in this country because we're both wearing shirts. We both have cotton shirts on, and all of it's a part of our American history when it comes to agriculture. So to me, I think a farmer raising a cow to a farmer that's raising cotton to a farmer that's raising, a radish in the ground all have the equal same value. And we need to recognize their value in this country and uphold who they are because we're losing them. And not having farmers to take care of us is a really bad thing, to say the least.
Well, thank you for saying that. And I know my family would very much appreciate that shout out. So good. And we need rain right now. Farmers are never happy. It's either you have too much rain or not enough rain or, I'm sure it's dry right now where we are. So
I'm sure there's some farmers out here in California would be very happy to bring you a few buckets of water right now.
I've heard that. I've heard we've had too much. Yeah.
It's been wet. Well, we can play. Hey, look, we complain when we don't have it. We complain when we do. That's the history of California. That's what makes us great here. I love it. Well, let's get into this a little bit. Tell everybody, if you wouldn't mind, let's open up with which I think is the kind of an easy softball question I'll give you, but tell everybody what Splendid is. Give us a little history of what Splendid's about.
Splendid is our coined word for Splendid by Porvenir, which is our full brand name. We go by Splendid in the marketplace. It's our #1 label. We do have a few other labels as well that we use, but we are a fresh produce company. We're based out of Nogales, Arizona, but our main operations are down in Los Mochis, northern Sinaloa in Mexico. And so we're the largest mango growers in Mexico in the Los Mochis area, but we outsource also. So mango season starts this time of year down south, southern part of Mexico, and it works its way north. So you move transition in the different regions as the mango season progresses.
Right.
And so we do that until we reach our home base, which is Sinaloa, where we have the majority of the crop that we are able to grow and ship. So we're vertically integrated in that respect.
Wow.
And have several companies that, some that tend more to the fertilizer chemical side. And then we have our Splendid operations, which is when we're distributing product, primarily mangoes. Right. But we do have other items. We have vegetables as well, sweet corn, green beans, winter squash, peppers, and some of that.
Talk to me a little bit though, because I think this is really a cool topic that I'm guessing that a lot of people probably don't know this about the company. I think it's something I want to put out first and foremost, but you've got a long history of providing product. The companies just didn't start yesterday. So share a little bit about the evolution of the brand, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, we actually were called Splendid Products at one time. We were based in the Bay area of California. And the owner of the company, Danielle, and his brother bought Splendid Products from them in 2016. Right. So they've had it, and they renamed it Splendid by Porvenir at that point. But prior to that, it had been a mango and citrus company in the Bay Area. So Splendid is not like a new name. It's been around since like 1976. Right. So it's known in California, and it was an easy transition. And they are taking it in a new direction and exporting quite a bit. So they not only we're not only importing it into the United States, but we're exporting it to other countries like Japan, Europe, Canada, are some of them.
That's awesome.
So we're on a growth path. We're going places. We have young staff, very aggressive sales team, and looking for opportunities. And part of what I'm doing for them now is working on developing retail end of things and just growing it in a bigger way, a larger presence in the United States.
I love it. Well, let's talk a little bit
about. And we're year round too. I didn't mention that. I mean, once the Mexican deal wraps up, what we're most known for is our keats out of northern Sinaloa, Los Mochis area. So once that wraps up around October is when we go to offshore, which is South America. So there's Brazil and Ecuador, but primarily we focus on Peru and the Kent variety out of Peru, which was phenomenal this year. I mean, there's still product coming in from Peru, if you can believe they've had this long of a season. Normally speaking, it's wrapped up by now, but it's done. I mean, it's continuing for another few weeks. So
wow, that's amazing.
The Mexican deal has already started up. And so now we're getting started.
I love it.
Tommy Atkins and Atulfos, or Honeys, the industry renamed it Honey because so many people have trouble saying Ataulfo, which are the yellow mangoes.
Right. My
favorite.
Yeah, I don't know how that could be that hard to do, but I get it. But people get confused for much less. Trust me. We'll talk a little bit. Let's talk about the Abars. Let's talk about the Abars a little bit and how they've embraced the brand, but also too what they've done, how it's in relation to the family history. Because I think this is super, super cool.
Thanks for joining the Todd-versation. And now a word from our sponsor.
Hi, this is Gordon Robertson, CEO of Verdant Technologies. Thank you for listening to Todd-versations. Our innovative post-harvest solution, Harvest Hold Fresh, is a game changer in delivering longer-lasting produce from crop to cart. Our patent technology slows the clock, extending the shelf life of fruits and vegetables, helping to preserve them at their peak. By simply inserting a sheet of Harvest Hold Fresh into packaging after harvest, our solution works to significantly reduce waste, deliver return on investment, and offer robust sustainability benefits in the perishable produce supply chain. That's a winning proposition for the grower, the shipper, the retailer, the consumer, and our planet. Contact us today and let us help you change your fresh future with this one-sheet wonder. Harvest Hold Fresh from Verdant Technologies.
When they renamed the company Splendid by Porvenir, they did so because there's a small, and I've been in Los Mochis, so I got to actually visit a little village where the father of the family, Don Daniel, was born. And this little village is called Porvenir. And this is the area where most of their packing houses are located. And so I was able to witness firsthand, this is a really cool story, how most of the people from the village, probably 2,000 or so work for them. And they were all gathered under a carport. It was a rainy day, but they always gather there for breakfast every morning, where they are met by Don Daniel, who addresses them, who welcomes them, who motivates them and talks to them about the day, in addition to feeding them. And so he has essentially sort of adopted his village. And it's really a cool thing to see that these people are so respectful and they owe this family so much and are so grateful to have a job. And they're taken care of. So
yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's so important to do, and I think that it really stands. It's a great lesson. It's a great story because it talks about, in my mind, the importance of community around agriculture, and that it's just not a farmer in his field, right? It is all the things that community brings to it, right? It's the tractor shop, it's the coffee shop, it's things along those lines, and so. Here in this country, it's real easy to see that, when you go around. But when you think about what's going offshore and you think about what you guys are doing down there, to your point, your whole village is behind what you're doing. There's a lot of people that work for your company that are out every single day. But to have that contact with the head guy to come out every morning to speak, to talk about the day, to feed people, to start their day in such a positive way is pretty unheard of. I bet there's not a lot of that going on down there. There's probably not a lot of that going on up here in the United States as well in a lot of ways. So it's got to be tremendous for those folks every day to be a part of something much bigger than they can even see, in the sense of like they've got a sense of ownership that's being created there by the culture that you've done. I think that's powerful.
Yes, absolutely. And they take great pride in their work. So as we toured the packing houses, as we were able to focus on the different captains or the people in charge of the different areas, I'll call them, they were very, very proud to show us what their role in the whole line of things was at the packing house itself. So
super cool. That's really cool. I mean, I think that's a really neat story. Let's talk a little bit about the brands, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of what they're about, because you talked about the other stuff. Just throw it out there. You got the Splendid brand.
So Splendid is used for mangoes. Tropic Star. Yes, right. It's also used for mangoes. Normally it can be a second label. And citrus, we also have some citrus, some lemons and limes that we sell. We use Tropic Star for that. And then Splendid Farms is primarily for vegetables.
Right.
It's our vegetable label. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you guys got a lot going on. As I said, the mangoes are obviously the big horse that's out there on the racetrack, but you guys got a lot of different things that you guys do.
And, packaging is always a big thing, and how you're presenting your product. So I think our wheels are turning as far as what can we do next and what can we offer. And, we bag mangoes, and we also sell, we do clams as well, clamshells. The plastic clamshells that are still, believe it or not, are being bought by retailers, even though sustainability kind of falls by the wayside there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're very popular. I mean, the product is very visible. You see it in the bakery department all the time, still being used. And yeah, they're out there still.
That's impressive.
And requested.
Yeah. Packaging is a whole nother hour-long conversation about ways to change and what to do and why we should, and the whole it's a big, packaging is a really big problem, and it's such a big boat to try to navigate and turn. I know I just had a conversation about packaging not too long ago, where I was kind of reflecting back on in the organic space a long time ago that we should have been better about packaging than we were. We should have pushed back and say, no, we shouldn't be the guys that are wrapping everything in plastic. Make the other guys wrap in plastic, because we're the alternative to that anyway. So yeah, packaging is a long story, no two ways about it, but it's so important that we keep our eyes on it. I know you do that. I know something you pay attention to in your role tremendously. So yeah,
we do. Kind of neat. And we hear, of course, we get that kind of feedback all the time. So we're very aware of what we are doing and how we're packaging and the direction that we're moving. It's uppermost in people's minds nowadays as far as selling your product. So you've got to keep it in mind.
No, it's got to matter. But hey, look, we're all, like I said in the beginning, we're all on the same rock together. We got to figure out ways to keep this rock going and take care of the next generation and stop screwing it up so well, because we're really good at screwing it up. We're not really good at fixing it. Right? It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to steal the cookies than it is to buy the cookies, guys. And I think we got to get better at that, right? So yeah, no, I don't disagree. I want to get into mangoes a little bit, because it's an interesting topic when you think about it, because they're not, they're not the most popular item here in the United States, but they are incredibly popular around the globe. I mean, mangoes are native to Southern Asia and India. Of course, you guys are growing in Mexico. They're growing all over the place now. I mean, they've definitely expanded that, but the global expansion of mangoes is pretty impressive. Like I said, they're a top 20 item here in the United States, but globally they're like number 5. They're a big staple in the diets of a lot of places in this planet, and they continue to grow in popularity. I think they're probably continuing to grow popularity here in the States in some ways. And I know that they've been really, have had a really good run, I guess, for lack of a better word, in the beverage sector. Mango in, beverage world has really taken off probably in the, last 5-8 years. It seems like to me, it's like really exploded. Can you talk a little bit about, kind of today where mangoes are, maybe compared to 5 or 10 years ago, something like give some perspective on how things are growing and what's kind of driving the sales today?
Sure. Well, I think the consumption has definitely gone up, hands down. As far as numbers to give you 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I don't really have those to give you, but I can tell you definitely it's growing. And I think it's because of what you just mentioned. I think you have started to see that the mango flavor, it has been infused, whether it's beverages, it's being integrated in sauces and salsas. It's served alongside, meat dishes, fish, poultry. I mean, pork. It goes with everything, and it's such an enhancer as far as the flavor. And so, being sort of a foodie, selling for a food service company before we got into talking to chefs and all that. And of course, mangoes are not the easiest to prepare. So it's all, they're labor intensive. So it's teaching them how to cut them the best and fastest way if they're going to integrate that and not buy frozen, which we would of course prefer they buy fresh. And once they get it down, it's not really a chore. I mean, and it's the kind of thing that I try to teach friends and family as well. When they say, you had mentioned earlier about people not knowing how to cut or how to choose mangoes. I mean, once they know how, all they have to do is practice. And there's so many different ways you can cut a mango. I mean, and it's just so easy. And so, if you just get it in your mind that it's not just this huge chore, it's like watermelon or anything else that can be messy. I mean, okay, so I'm going to share a secret with you. So one of the things I do when I eat a mango, this is a secret, is once I've cut the cheeks off of the mango, there's nothing better than just having that seed and being able to just eat the rest of the mango right off the seed over the sink. It's just dripping and it's just so wonderful and it tastes great. There's just nothing like it. So, and then the whole flavor thing being carried through in retail now, if you go from different departments and mango is in aguas frescas and mangoes in the bakery and cakes, mangoes are front and center, in the produce department. You might even see them back in deli, being integrated with the salsa. You can see them on the little, what are they called? The little islands that they push around that are iced down, portable.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Merchandisers, mobile merchandisers. They use those to ice and display some of the prepared products with mangoes. So it's for the people in the fresh cut is taken right off. I mean, that's a huge growth area for mangoes because it fits the whole convenience trend. People that are on the go, they need something, healthful and already ready to eat, and it's there for them, and price is not a factor. They're willing to pay it. So I think that as we see that happen more and more, and in that flavor aspect just takes off, and the versatility of mangoes takes off, and people start to see, like the recipe I shared with you, the salsa recipe, that it can be integrated in so many ways and enhance foods so many ways. So, yeah.
I look, to your point, it's incredibly versatile. You can have it any meal of the day, any time of the day. It's great smooth. It's great. Kids love it. My hack would be the one where you use the glass to peel the mango out of, right? Take the peel, put on the end, and just pull it down, and scoops comes right out. That's pretty quick and easy. But I want to talk about that a little bit too, because there is those misconceptions about how to handle stuff, and it's not just mangoes; it's other items too. People get afraid of, I don't know how to deal with it. I don't want, how many people are really going to go buy a jackfruit and take it home, right? They don't know what to do. And the same thing comes with mangoes. And mangoes are a great value. They're super healthy for you. There's all kinds of, all the good things we're supposed to eat that you're not going to get a mango driving through McDonald's, kids. Trust me, mangoes are good for you. So, you get, I think we get stuck in some of these misconceptions a little bit, right? About how to handle things. How do we work with stuff? How do we eat it? Look, kale was leading that charge and certainly change that narrative a little bit. But how do we work to overcome stumbling blocks like that? I mean, how do we, what's the retailer need to do? What does the shippers need to do? What, people inside the industry, I mean, how do we stop and help people really grasp the importance of like figuring this out? To your point, it's not hard to do. Once you do it and get practice at it, then you got this in your diet all the time.
I think you just confront it head on. And I think that's what we did when I was with the Mango Board, and we got as much on the site as we could possibly get on there, videos, YouTube videos, and to show people how to do that. And there's a tremendous amount. I can plug them available on the Mango Board site to go to and find out that. But I think we can also share it as shippers and people in the industry. With anybody we talk to, we can put it on our boxes. QR codes are big now.
Yeah.
I mean, they lead people to your website. And so that's a really easy go-to to do. And you can put things on your boxes, your packaging, speaking of packaging, that can also help people. And I think, recipe cards used to be they're kind of a thing of the past, but I think some people still want recipe cards, believe it or not. There's an older generation that can sort of like something, hard copy, and let me take this home and put it in my recipe card box.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're 100% right. But again, like you're saying, it's in order for us to increase consumption, right? As an industry, we have to step back and say, you can't make something taste good. You can't convince somebody, if it doesn't taste good, it's a little bit hard to try to sell, right? But when something's difficult to work with, right? Because everybody in this level, here, a lot of people want it easy, right? So when we have something that's a bit of a challenge, I think it's just super important that as the industry, the Mango Board and other boards have similar type items that have these kind of consumer issues kind of somewhat associated with them. I think it's incredibly important that the industry leans in and recognizes that consumption wins for everybody, right? Getting a person to eat an apple is good for the entire apple industry. Some way, somehow, it'll trickle down to be good for everybody. And it's the same thing here. So when I think about these issues, coming together, banding together to get people to better understand the ease and the fun that can be had. Yeah. Especially with the kids, the different things you can do, let alone the recipe card.
Absolutely.
But I think it's really powerful to get behind that message and try to help uplift and increase consumption.
Absolutely. I do. And I think too, as you were mentioning earlier, you brought up Apple, and it just reminded me of something I had in mind the other day, the comparison between Hispanic and Asian type retail supermarket chains and more traditional chains. You don't have to teach these people how to eat mangoes. You wouldn't believe the amount of mangoes that some of these the Hispanic and Asian chains can move.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible. However, I think what's happening now, what we're seeing in the marketplace is like the more traditional supermarket chains are picking up on a lot of the ways of them merchandising and selling mangoes at the volume levels that they're selling them at. And it's catching on. So I think it's moving ahead. I think it's really a cultural thing. I mean, mangoes are not apples. Apples are more like a more accepted type commodity of fruit. And mangoes moved from the exotic category into the more tropical area with pineapples. And sometimes we're lucky enough to buy avocados. We love that. But it's claiming that shelf space. And that's a huge thing in this business, as you know. And it's not just, claiming it for now during season. That's one of the reasons I think that you want to be year round, is because you want to be able to hang on to your shelf space. And not lose it, because sometimes once it's gone and it's substituted with another item, it's hard to get it back. So I think that's one of the main things that propels the industry to hang on to the year round status. And I think during the peak times, the more promotable times, that's when we love to see the island displays, and mangoes anchoring those alongside tahine or some of the other easily merchandised items that tie in well, limes tying well with mangoes and other items like that. And so they're front and center. The volume is high, so the price normally drops. It's at a very affordable price. Sometimes they can buy them for $4, and consumers just go wild. Some of the numbers that these chain stores are moving of mangoes is absolutely incredible.
Thanks for joining the Todd-versation. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hi, this is Gordon Robertson, CEO of Verdant Technologies. Thank you for listening to Todd-versations. Our innovative post-harvest solution, Harvest Hold Fresh, is a game changer in delivering longer-lasting produce from crop to cart. Our patent technology slows the clock, extending the shelf life of fruits and vegetables, helping to preserve them at their peak. By simply inserting a sheet of Harvest Hold Fresh into packaging after harvest, our solution works to significantly reduce waste deliver return on investment, and offer robust sustainability benefits in the perishable produce supply chain. That's a winning proposition for the grower, the shipper, the retailer, the consumer, and our planet. Contact us today and let us help you change your fresh future with this one-sheet wonder. Harvest Hold Fresh from Verdant Technologies.
It is. I remember one that was up in Canada, and they dealt with a large Asian population, and it was nothing for them to blow through a truckload of mangoes on a Saturday.
Nothing.
Yeah, just like no big deal. That's great, and that's a lot, and that's a few boxes.
And many of those sell them by the case.
Right.
So yeah. So these consumers are walking out with case product.
Yeah, no, it's a high velocity item if people get behind. And again, I think it's, the stores need to help lift a little bit too, right? Get consumers educated, get consumers a little bit more hip to it, and I think it would help the category tremendously as we keep that, how to deal with it. It's not a big deal. It's not hard, but if people don't know how to do it, they're just going to like, I don't want to mess with that.
Right. And I think that demos help too. Demos are expensive, but they're definitely a helpful merchandising tool. And if you can get sponsorship for that, it's very, very helpful. It draws the consumer. We all know when we go to box stores, sometimes people eat lunch at box stores. They've got demos going on everywhere. And so, I mean, you hand them a piece of mango and they try it and they fall in love with it. And then all of a sudden we try to push the the number of mangoes they pick up. Generally speaking, it's 2. So we're pushing for the 3rd one. We want them to get 1 more mango than what they would normally buy. So of course, if they'll buy a case, we'll love that even more. But we're helping these people along, right? It's baby steps we can take,
We all love capitalism. Just it's got to be conscious capitalism. That's the key. Be conscious capitalism. That's the key. This is awesome. Thank you for checking. What's next for you guys? Anything exciting coming down the pike?
Well, we have a trade show right around the corner in Dallas, Be Fresh, that we'll be at and exhibiting at. I know many of the industry members will be there, so we encourage them to come out and drop by and see us. And just more out there on the road, knocking on doors and trying to get into new places and reveal new things about mangoes to more people.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you for hanging out with me today. This was fun. I'm glad we got to do this. I'm glad.
And I can't say this is a great thing.
I told you. I told you it'd be fun. I told you we'd have fun. Well, no, look, it's a great topic and it's a great item, right? It's not hard to get behind an item like this. It's healthy for people and to try to encourage people to think differently about it, incorporate it in their diets, challenge retailers, challenge wholesalers, challenge people to figure out why they don't eat them, right? And figure out what they need to do and what they can learn. To your point, go online, figure out how to cut one. It's not hard. Take a glass, slide it down the side, falls in the glass, bada bing, you're set. Easy as all get out, right? But you got to learn how to do it. And to your point,
and how fun to work with a brand name like Splendid. It's
damn right.
Splendid has splendid mangoes, and they really are.
I love it. Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you for being here. You come back anytime. You're always welcome.
Thank you, Todd, for having me.
Absolutely a pleasure. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you being here. Go check out Splendid. Go see Cindy. Miss Mango's on the road. She's doing her thing. You want to know how to do something, email her. She'll answer. She's got a great recipe too for a habanero salsa thing. It's kind of pretty damn good. You should hit her up and find out what it is, because it's worth figuring out how to put it together. It's pretty delicious. Anyways, thanks for being here and hanging out with us. We appreciate us. Don't forget to check us out on social media. Cindy, you know why I'm on social media?
Why is that?
Because that's where I go to find out information about mangoes, because that's the world lives in social media and about mangoes. That's why I go there.
Well, good.
No, I have no idea.
There's a lot on there.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it very much. Remember, go inspire somebody today. It's incredibly important. Uplift somebody in your world. Make the world a better place by doing it. You'll feel good. They'll feel good. And you never know what might happen afterwards. So take care of yourselves, everybody. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Much love from us. Cindy, love you. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.